Hello, Jake. Welcome to Wake Up with Marci.
Hey, I'm excited. Thanks, Marcy. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
I know you're going to help some businesses out there, business owners. That's
Let's do it.
fantastic. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the challenges that businesses have faced during the pandemic and some of the ways that you help.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people, I think as a business owner, you get so used to doing one thing and then life happens, right?
Mhm.
And we have to pivot. And I think one of the big things that we focused on is that people who were doing, cybersecurity now for big companies, it's in your house security, right? And it's how do
Mhm.
we keep those networks secure? So I think for every business owner who's probably trying to think about maybe I need to pivot now too, it's all about thinking about what can I do today and maybe getting out of your comfort zone to find what's the next new thing. And I think for a lot of businesses, you have it in you. It's just making sure that you feel comfortable getting out of the norm and trying something different.
And are you helping these businesses find different ways to step out of the norm?
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of this is about packaging, right? That
Mhm.
you're probably doing really amazing, interesting things. And I'll use that example because it's such a clear one for me. Very early on, and now again, we're seeing companies doing the same thing. It's, again, we were focused on infrastructure or network security, and it's just the packaging. It's still the same thing that you were doing before, but now instead we're just going to message it as we're going to do security for your personal devices, or we're going to do security for your home. And I
Mhm.
think for a lot of companies, they have the ability that it's not that the product has to change. We just have to think differently about how we package things and get really focused
Gotcha.
on our buyer and really what they're focused on.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So let's talk about you and some of your incredible accomplishments and scaled consulting.
Well, look, I mean, that's obviously the favorite topic, not usually, but so what we're really focused on, and for me and my background, grew up in the Midwest, wasn't planning to become an entrepreneur or business owner, but really life, kind of pushed me in that direction. And now, what I get a lot of passion out of is helping organizations to build repeatable sales and marketing engines. I think sales in particular is something that a lot of us see, and it feels a little bit like a dark art, right? It feels like,
Mhm.
oh, these are these guys who can just, do these things. And the reality is it's very methodical. It's very based in science as well too. And so I just get a lot of pleasure and joy out of, us
Wow.
working with organizations to help to demystify a lot of what goes into sales.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say I'm not real good on sales, but anyway, that's a whole other story.
You probably are. You probably are. But again, we have this perception of sales. We have this
Yeah,
perception of this gregarious or like, oh, hey, what's going on,
yeah.
right? The reality is, we as consumers, we follow a process, right? We do it when we click to buy on Amazon, right? There's a preferred process. And I think for a lot of companies, it's taking a step back and looking at what's your customer journey, right? It's just like, hey, what's the outcome we're trying to engineer toward, and what are the right steps? So, Marcy, I think even you could be an expert at sales at some point.
Well, good thing to strive for. So let's talk about business advice, the best business advice that you would give for an elevator pitch, because that's really important and hard to do.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we get so focused on the product that we sell and thinking that we just need to explain it better. Where the reality is, none of
Mhm.
us, right? Whether we buy shoes or a new outfit, we're buying an outcome, right?
Yeah.
We're buying feeling good, looking good. And reflecting on this question, I go back to my very first job out of college. I worked for a major league baseball team, and we were the worst team in the major leagues. And you know, you can't really sell the product at that point, right? Nobody's excited to come to the games. And so instead, what do you sell? You sell family time. You
Yeah.
sell, business connections. And so I think
Yeah.
so many business owners, their elevator pitch focuses too much on what we do and trying to explain it better versus the outcomes that we're shooting for.
Yeah, and that is true. The consumer is very different today. So let's talk
Very different.
about, yeah. So let's talk about three strategies that you can help companies with their sales campaign, because how vital is that? And like we're talking about, that is definitely changing.
It is, and across the across, think about the last 5 years, right? Of
Hmm.
click to buy, 1 day delivery. Right now, it's like
Right.
ugh, I've got to wait
Yeah.
3 days.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
same is very true for B2B if you're selling business to business as well. So quick strategies for everyone. Step one is know your customer. I think a lot of people try to expand their customer base, and they think that that's a good thing. They say, oh, we can sell to this person, this person. The reality is you've got to narrow your focus. And I think that that's really a tough thing for a lot of companies to do, is say, actually, if you go narrow to go big. And that's one of my favorite sayings is that, to just think about know who your customer is today and who it could be. So that's one. Number two, remove friction. Right? Really take a step back and think about that customer journey. Where can I pull out things where the customer, I don't need to talk to the person. I could send them something digitally now. Right. And that really leads to number three, which is digital engagement. That if you're not consistently thinking about the digital experience that you're giving to people, you're going to be left behind. And I think if you do those things right, you really focus on the buyer, you remove friction, and you focus on the experience, that to me is what it's going to take to win in 2022 and beyond, for sure.
Yeah. This digital world is something that everyone really needs to learn. And I think that that's a hard one, and we could use some real help. So Jake, where can we find you so we can get some more help from you?
Yeah, definitely. Well, definitely go check out jakedunlap.com. That's a really simple one. The podcast is on there. We've had some amazing guests, CEO of Hintwater, CEO of some of the fastest growing companies on the stock exchange as well too. So go to jakedunlap.com. And then LinkedIn is also, obviously, if you're in business, you're interested in sales, you're probably on LinkedIn, maybe a little YouTube. So definitely go check out jakedunlap.com, go check out LinkedIn. And definitely look forward to connecting and helping anyone that I can.
Yeah, wonderful, Jake. Thank you so much for coming on and helping us.
Hey, thank you, Marci. This is fun.